look at that generous portion of cake. Guys, take a look at that generous portion of cake. Do you know what that means? Generous portion. Well, guys, in this lesson, I'm going to teach you another way to say big. Big is a really simple word. You know, if you want to have great English, if you want to be interesting, it's better to find other ways to say simple words like big. So today I'm going to teach you the word generous. Now you probably already know this word, right? This doesn't mean big. Generous means, that you like to give. You're a giver. You're kind in your giving. You give a lot, right? If you're generous with your money, that means you give a lot of money to people. If you're generous with your time, you spend a lot of time with people. Maybe you have a generous neighbor and they're always bringing you cookies, okay? You could say, thanks for your generosity, okay? Thanks for your generosity. Hopefully your neighbor is a generous person. Are you a generous person? Smash that like button if you are a generous person. So, look at this generous portion of cake. Okay, so what this means is big. Okay, it doesn't mean generous like giving money or time or food no, it doesn't mean that. Generous here means big. It's a big piece of cake. Okay, so we can say that's a generous portion. Wow, that's a generous portion. Okay, guys, imagine if you and me go out to a restaurant, okay, and we order some, let's say I order a hamburger and French fries, and then my order comes and it looks like this. I could tell you, what? That's a measly portion of fries? That's a measly portion of fries? Look at that, that's such a small portion, okay? Measly means very small. It's ridiculous. Measly. What kind of a restaurant is this? I'm never coming back to this restaurant. You're only going to give me a measly portion of fries? Get out of my life. Okay, so portion. Portion can mean like a serving. Okay, so here, this is a portion of fries. Okay, so portion means like it can mean food on a plate, or it can mean part of something. Okay, so when we talk about the piece of cake, okay, it's a portion of cake. It's not the whole cake, right? It's just a portion. It's a part of the cake. Okay, so the cake, that was a big portion. That was a generous portion. This is a measly portion of French fries. So, I could say this. They gave me a measly portion of fries. Okay, yeah. Would you go to this restaurant, guys? Looks like garbage. When I order French fries at a restaurant, I want a generous portion of fries. How about you? Would you rather have a measly portion of fries like this, or a generous portion of French fries? Another word we can use is helping. Okay, a generous helping. So this word means portion. Okay, it means like the food on your plate. A helping. So let's say you want to eat food. Okay, you might take a helping of corn, maybe some I don't know, peas and carrots, or some vegetables, a portion of broccoli or something, a portion of steak, a portion of mashed potatoes, a portion of I don't know. What do you like to eat? So that's a helping. Okay, so I'm taking a helping of mashed potatoes, a helping of vegetables, peas and carrots and corn or whatever. Maybe a helping of chicken, whatever. Okay, so this word doesn't mean this kind of help. Like, I need help. Can you help me? No, it doesn't mean that. This means food. Okay, a generous helping. Helping means a portion of food. Okay, so look at this picture, guys. Look at that generous helping of mashed potatoes. Man, it takes up like most of the plate, and the steak is on top. That's a generous portion of mashed potatoes. Can you say that? Mashed potatoes. But most of the time when people are speaking fast, they say mashed potatoes. So you don't have to say mashed. You can just say mash potatoes. Okay? Look at that generous portion of mashed potatoes. That's a generous helping of mashed potatoes. Okay? So generous has nothing to do with like generosity. Okay? It means big here. It means a lot. Okay? So with the cake, right? A generous piece of cake. So that's a generous piece. We could say it's a generous piece of cake. We could say it's a generous portion or a generous helping. Okay. It's good to use the word portion or helping. It's good to know those words because some food doesn't come as a piece, right? Like French fries, basically what you want to say is, this is a lot of French fries. Wow, that's a lot of French fries. But a better way to say it is, that's a huge portion, or that's a generous portion of fries, or it's a generous helping of fries, okay? So not all foods can be cut into a piece, but all foods can be a portion. Okay, so you could take a portion of mashed potatoes, a portion of steak, a portion of this, a portion of that. Okay, now guys, take a look at this woman. What do you notice? Guys, are we still recording? Yes, we are. Thank you so much for joining me in this wonderful episode. Look at that beautiful woman. Now, I would say she's quite generously endowed. She's generously endowed. What does that mean? What do you think it means? Okay, if I'm looking at this picture, okay, and my eyes are kind of going up and down, and I would say she's quite generously endowed. What do you think it means? What am I saying? Generously endowed. The word endow means to be provided with something. Okay, if someone provides you, like equips you with something, they are endowing that to you. Okay, look at this example. The Middle East is generously endowed with oil. Okay, this sentence means that the Middle East has lots of oil. It has lots of oil. Now, who is providing oil to the Middle East? Because in this sentence, we're talking about the oil in the ground. It's underground. The Middle East has lots of oil underground. Well, who endowed the Middle East with that? God, right? But this word is often used in the passive voice. Okay, so if we wanted to change this to an active voice sentence, we would say, God generously endowed the Middle East with oil. Okay, God generously endowed the Middle East with oil. But this verb, some verbs in English are mostly used in the passive voice. Have you ever learned about passive and active voice in grammar? We're talking about a grammatical structure of the sentence. Okay, so look at this sentence here. The building was set on fire. Okay, this is called passive voice in English grammar. It's the way the sentence is structured. Look at that. We're starting with the word building. The building was set on fire. Who set the building on fire? Someone did it. Someone did this crime, okay? Do you know, by the way, do you know what the crime is called when you set a building on fire? Or when you damage anything by fire? That crime is called arson. Okay, so but in this sentence we don't know who did it. We're kind of changing the sentence around to make it passive voice. If we wanted to make it active voice, we would say this: someone set the building on fire. Okay, here we're starting with our subject, right? Someone set the building, right? The building is receiving the action. It's an active voice. This person is doing the action, and this is receiving the action. But in the passive voice, we start with this one, and we don't even have this at all. We don't know who did it, and we're leaving that out of the sentence. So if it's passive, we would say the building was set on fire. Okay, the building was set on fire. So we don't know who did it, right? So if I say, this woman is generously endowed. Okay, well, this is passive voice. Endowed. It means she's been provided with big. Remember this word in this lesson. This word means big. Okay, she's been generously endowed. So what am I talking about? Which part of her body do you think I'm talking about here? Well, I'm talking about this part right here. This area of her body. Big. Okay, so that's what I mean when I said the sentence. She is generously endowed. Okay, now so what generous means here, okay, it's more than enough in size or amount. Okay, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about generous. So with a piece of cake, wow, it's big. It's more than enough in size or amount. With the French fries, that wasn't generous. That wasn't a generous portion. That was a measly portion. There's just a few French fries on the plate. Okay, so let's look at some more examples, guys, of generous. So, now just keep both meanings in mind of the word generous. Imagine if I give you this piece of cake. Here you go. You could say, wow, that's a generous piece of cake. You're so generous, Mark. My name is Mark, by the way. So, yeah, if I give you this piece of cake, I'm being generous to you. Okay, so you could say, Mark, thank you for being generous by giving me this generous portion of cake. So generous portion means big. Okay, so if we say the sentence, she is generously endowed with good looks. Okay, think about the picture of the woman. She's got really beautiful hair, nice face, eyes, and everything. So if I say she is generously endowed with good looks, does this mean big? No, this doesn't mean big. Now we're talking about beauty. We're talking about her physical appearance. She's good looking. She's beautiful. Okay, now who endowed her with good looks? Who is it? Who did it? Who endowed her? Well, we could say genetics endowed her, or maybe her parents. Her parents' genetics endowed her with good looks, or God. You could say God endowed her with good looks. But like I said, this verb is almost always used in the passive voice. So in this sentence, we don't know where she got her good looks from. She just has them. Okay? So if you just want to describe a situation in English and you don't know who is the cause, then you can use the passive voice and make your sentence like this, right? She has been. You could either say she is generously endowed or she has been generously endowed. Both verb tenses would be common in this case, okay? So guys, she's generously endowed with good looks. So here we're talking about good looks. She has more than enough. So in this, the generous, right? It means that she has like a lot of good looks, but it doesn't really mean big, physically big. But if we say this, she is generously endowed, this sentence only has one meaning. And we're not talking about her, probably not talking about her hair, probably not talking about her eyes, unless that was already established in the conversation. Let's say we're talking about people's hair, and I say, oh wow, she's generously endowed. Well, okay, then maybe we could be talking about her hair. But if I just say this sentence, what it actually means is we're talking about these two areas, these two regions of her body. We're talking about this region and this region. Big, okay? We're talking about physical size. Someone's generously endowed. If a woman is generously endowed, we're talking about maybe both, or just maybe this region, or maybe just this region. But we're talking about the physical size. Big, not small, big. So that's why this word generous very often means big. Okay? Now, guys, this reminds me, I posted a quiz on my channel today. This is my quiz. Have you ever seen any of my quizzes on my channel? Okay, if you haven't, it's a great way for you to learn, advanced vocabulary. I've been posting a lot of quizzes, and they're not on there. So if you go to my channel, right, if you click on my channel and you click on the posts tab, click on posts, not videos. This isn't a video, it's a post. Okay, you click on the post tab, you'll see all the list of my quizzes that I've been posting. So like I said, it's a really good way to take your English to another level. It's a fun way. You can kind of see it. So, this is what I posted today, a few hours ago, 3 hours ago, I posted this quiz. So, this is what I said. Okay, ample posterior means backbone, back of head, front of head, or big butt. And 30% of you guys, 30% got the right answer. The right answer is big butt. Okay? So ample means kind of the same as generous, the word ample. Ample. I want an ample amount of French fries when I go to a restaurant. Or if you have a big piece of cake. Wow, that's an ample sized piece of cake. So ample kind of means the same as generous. Posterior kind of means backside. So in this case, it means butt. So it means big butt. Ample, big, posterior butt, big butt. So that's the right answer. I just wanted to talk about this because, look, only 145 people answered this 3 hours ago. Okay, so maybe you've never taken any of my quizzes. Just go to the posts tab. Take some of these quizzes. It'll be fun. You'll learn some advanced, most of them are advanced. Okay, advanced English. I like to challenge you to test to push the limits of your knowledge. Okay, so let's look at a few more examples with the word generous. So let's imagine you and me are going for a walk, and we walk past this house. I might say, wow, that's a generous sized sidewalk. Not sidewalk, sorry, driveway. That's a generously sized driveway. Okay, this area in front of your house, the paved part here, that's called your driveway. So sidewalk is what we're walking on. So I got confused. You and me are walking along the sidewalk, and we look at this house. Oh wow, Look at that driveway. That's a huge driveway. That's a generously sized driveway, or generous, that's a generous sized driveway, or that's a generously sized driveway. I think both. I think you could say both. I've heard both. That's a generous sized driveway. It's a generously sized driveway. Okay, so what are we meaning then? We're talking about the physical size of the driveway. It's more than enough. I mean, look at the picture. Like a normal driveway would just kind of be this part in front of the garage, right? This part here. But look at this. This huge part. It's a huge driveway. It's more than enough. It's big. It's big. That's what I'm saying. Okay, if I say that's a generous sized driveway, I'm saying it's a big driveway. Okay, or let's say you are giving me a tour of your house. I'm walking through your house and I see your TV. Say, wow, that is a generous sized TV there. Man, it's a generously sized TV you got there. That's huge. It's big, right? I'm talking about the physical size of the TV. Okay? So you can say that's a generous sized TV. Man, it's huge. Okay? Now look at this woman. She's got headphones, right? Those are pretty big headphones. Like they're almost as big as her head. Right? So what should you say to her if you see her and you want to comment on the size of her headphones? What should you say? You should say, wow, you got some pretty generously sized headphones there. You got some pretty generously sized headphones there. Okay? So it's another way to say big headphones. Okay, generously sized or generous sized headphones. Okay? So guys, when we use this word generous to mean big, it's kind of, we use it when we have a light-hearted mood. It's just kind of light-hearted. You want to kind of be a bit funny or a bit joking, or just, it's a light-hearted situation. It's not a negative word. Like let's look at our examples that we've talked about so far, okay? If in this situation, imagine this is you, and you and me are friends. I walk in the library at school, and I see you got some new headphones. I might say, whoa, wow, those are some generously sized headphones you got there, right? I'm just trying to be kind of lighthearted, just, yeah. That's the mood we use this word generous in. Or with this, if I'm in your house, I'm just going to make a lighthearted comment. Wow, that's a generous sized TV you got there. Man, right? Or this one, right? Like that's a generous sized driveway. Right? I'm just making a lighthearted comment. It's not bad. It has no bad meaning. It's not really good. It's just an observation about the size of the driveway. Wow, that's a generous sized driveway. And the word generous, it kind of has a positive meaning. Okay? In this situation, it's pretty neutral. Maybe I'm not saying it's good or bad. Maybe I'm just meaning it's big. But in other situations, it means a bit positive. It's a good thing. Like if I say this woman is generously endowed, I mean that as a positive thing. Okay, it's like a compliment. Now, I probably wouldn't go up to her and say, "Hi, wow, you are generously endowed." What would she say? She might say, "Hey, eyes up here, buddy. Eyes up here. Eyes up here means look. My eyes are up here. Look at me here. My eyes aren't here. Eyes up here, buddy." Because if I'm just staring down like that, she's, right? So eyes up here, that's what that means. So yeah, it's a positive, this has a positive meaning, guys. So, wow, that's a generous portion of cake. That's a generous helping of cake. That's a good thing, right? It's more than enough. But is that bad? If it's unnecessarily large, is that a bad thing? Would you rather have a normal piece of cake or a generously portioned piece of cake? You'd rather have a big piece of cake, even if it's unnecessary. Yeah, it's going to make you fat and you might die of a heart attack, but you want it. It's a good thing. If we use the word generous right here, right? That's a generous portion of cake. What kind of cake is that? Is that a Black Forest cake? Ooh, man, Black Forest, guys, is my favorite kind of cake. I love Black Forest. Man, this is making me hungry. I'm gonna go. Oh, I think the restaurants are all closed at this point, guys. I missed my chance. Now I'm gonna have to eat beans and rice tonight. No cake for me, guys. No cake for me tonight. I was busy. I got carried away teaching you this lesson. So, guys, give me a like for that. No cake for me tonight. But let's do some homework. I want you to make a sentence and post your sentence down there in the comments. Tell me about something big and use the word generous. Like a generous portion or generous helping or generously endowed or I don't know. And if you would like me to make an episode about the word endow, it's a good word. Let me know down in the comments. I'll make a lesson on the word endow if you want it. If you don't want it, tell me to get lost. Get out of here, Mark. Well, guys, as always, I love you very much. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and happy wherever you are. And I look forward to reading your homework. And guys, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.